All right, peace. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, giving honor and praise to the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov. Give a double honors to 7130 South Chicago that taught me this truth. Giving double honors to all the brothers and sisters that the Creator has awoken in these last days. With that being said, peace and shalom. All right, brothers and sisters. I was listening to a back and forth with D.L. Hughley Vivica A. against Ice Cube, and their back and forth was based upon politics, right? So I believe that this started around 2020 when Ice Cube wanted to do business with Donald Trump. I believe Donald J. Trump, right? And the first backlash that he got it from the cocktail queens, Vivica A. Fox, and the rest of the ladies that's on the show, right? And then I guess recently he got backlash from D.L. Hughley talking about, D.L. Hughley was basically saying that why is it that Donald Trump is doing business with Ice Cube when you have a lot of intellectuals that's in the field of, I guess in the field of what he's trying to do business in. Why isn't he doing business with these people, rather who they may be? And he was saying that he don't really want to do business with the professionals. He only wants to do business with entertainers, and things of this nature. And my response to that is, because Ice Cube was having a conversation, he had multiple conversations with the cocktail queens, and he was saying that basically he wanted to do some type of business with Donald Trump, and his premise was that, look, we have to get out of the mindset of just thinking in one box. We got to think outside the box. And what he was saying is that most so-called blacks, we vote and we do a lot of things on a Democratic ticket. If there's no Democrats in office, a lot of times we do a lot of race baiting, and we'll say things like, the Republicans is trying to put the black man in slavery, all this type of stuff. So it's always a negative response when the Republicans get in office, but it's always a positive response when the Democrats in the office. See, the Democrats are what you would call the good cop, and the Republicans are called the bad cop, right? But we have to understand that they're both cops, and a lot of times police on the police force, a lot of them represent the same ideology. So Ice Cube said, look, let's think outside of the box. Let's stop being Democrats and Republicans. He basically didn't say that, but what he was saying is that, look, if the Republicans is in office, let's try to work with the Republicans in order to get certain things done in the community. And in my humble opinion, I think that that's the most smartest thing to do, is because, look, and he also said, look, check this out. I don't care about neither one of the presidents, because, I'm not a politician. I don't value a lot of things that they say, because a lot of these politicians, they say one thing and they do another. Let's try to start, controlling the situation, since we understand that the black vote means everything. And when he's saying these things, I know that I'm paraphrasing, but when he's saying these things, you have these two individuals, D.L. Hughley, Vivica A. Fox. They are against what he's talking about. And see, this is my issue with a lot of these folks. A lot of these Democrats, especially these black Democrats, are very dangerous when it's talking about the survival and, the self-preservation of the so-called black man in this country. Is because every time we're doing something from a political standpoint of view, we always thinking about the Democrats. First of all, the Democrats are just as racist. The white Democrats are just as racist as the Republicans. The Republicans and the Democrats are nothing but the North and the South. We have to understand history. When the so-called black man started to come to the North, we caught just as much hell from the Caucasians in the North as we caught in the South. This is what Dr. Martin Luther King said, right? When he came out there fighting for, I think the union, the so-called black union, dealing with construction and things of this nature, getting better jobs. He was hit upside the head with a brick, right? Over there on, I forget what street it is, but it was over there by Bogan High School. See? But that's beside the point. What I'm saying is that I was having a conversation with an older gentleman, the same conversation. And I was saying, look, why do you refer to yourself as a Democrat? And I listened to him. And he's saying the same thing that D.L. Hughley and Vivica A. Fox and the rest of these handkerchief head Negroes be talking about. They think D.L. Hughley thinks that Ice Cube is not educated enough to sit down with a president or a governor or whoever to get certain things done in the community. But here it is. This is the same man that put together a league, right? A basketball league. We understand that it's 3-on-3, but Ice Cube has always been a business savvy person. And see, this is what the black Democrats do every time you try to do something outside of what they're doing. If you're not about being a Democrat or helping them or assisting them in what they're trying to do, then they're going to have a problem with you. And see, this is the stupidity that goes on in the community. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't matter who's in office. The Democrats are just as conniving as the Republicans. But irregardless of who's in office, you have to get what you're trying to get or what goals you're trying to accomplish, regardless of who's in office. They're using us every 4 to 8 years in politics. When we looking at the black Democrats, let's look at the so-called black community. We have nothing in our communities to show for all the work that black folks have done in the political field. We have nothing. We don't control the economics in our neighborhoods. We don't control the educational system. We don't control the leadership or the health in our communities, y'all. And this is what Ice Cube is speaking to. You have to control something in your. I always throw this out. It's just like jail. When you go to prison, if you don't control the market or some of the, you can't control everything, but if you don't control some of the market in the prison system, man, you're gonna be prey to people. And this is what's going on with us as a people. Because we don't control the politicians in our community, we have become prey. Everybody that comes to our neighborhoods that don't look like us or look like us, they're coming to our neighborhoods to do what? To suck us dry. See? And this is what Ice Cube was speaking to. He was speaking to the fact that, look, if we're going to vote, we should get something out of the vote. We don't get anything. You have people every 4, 8, or how many years that they've been in office, whether they trying to get in office or they already in there trying to seek another term, right? Whatever position that they hold. You have donors. You have people that donate money to their campaign. They don't speak to that type of stuff in the community. Because the donors, the people that's pulling their money into the campaign, they're the ones that's actually controlling the presidents. This has been going on for the longest. And not just the president. They're controlling the governors. They're controlling the mayors. Whatever position that you hold, you have donors. You have people that support you, right? Whether you win the election or lose the election. Look at the situation with Hillary Clinton when she went against Barack Obama. She lost, right? She lost to Barack Obama, right? She took all those people that supported her and she got behind Barack Obama. So all this money that those people was pouring into her, those votes and things of this nature, they took all of that stuff and they put it behind Barack Obama. We don't do things like this. This is why Vivica A. Fox and D.L. Hughley, in my opinion, is very dangerous, is because they're talking about, Ice Cube needs to be around, not Ice Cube, Donald Trump needs to deal with the more professional people. This is the same rhetoric that has been going on in the so-called black community since we've been able to vote. You had Marcus Garvey. He want to go back to Africa. He wants to be self-sufficient, right? You had W.E.B. Du Bois. They're going against Marcus Garvey, right? They running around taking all the intellectuals or trying to come against Marcus Garvey. You had Malcolm X, right? The Nation of Islam. And you had the NAACP. You had a lot of these so-called black groups. They was coming against the Nation of Islam because they was teaching that the same thing Marcus Garvey was preaching, that you have to do for self. You got to control your own communities. You got to control the politicians. You got to control the educational system. This is what Malcolm X and them was talking. They was talking about the same thing that Marcus Garvey was talking about. when W.E.B. Du Bois was going against what's his name, Paul Robeson, Booker T. Washington, all these people. See, these are the handkerchief head Negroes that we talking about. They talk all this nonsense. But what are they doing for their communities? All we do is sit behind the computer, or, we sit behind these podcasts and we just sit and spew a lot of nonsense. Every year we talking about racism in the country. The black man is up against so much. If that's true, then why the so-called black man can't come together and do certain things in the community? See, you know why? It's because we don't have no culture. We don't have no cohesiveness. You got one person running to one slave master, and you got another person going to another. Now here it is. Ice Cube he made a good assessment of trying to do something. Both of them is slave masters. So why don't you try to get something out of the slave master? We spend $7 billion in the country every year. $8 billion and $7 billion. We don't own nothing. We are a laughing stock to the whole we are laughing stock to the nations round about. We got jewelry. We are well educated. We buy shoes. We buy houses, cars, things of this nature. But we don't have enough sense. Just like the Million Man March movement. All of that nonsense is nothing but it is an outward show instead of us coming together. I remember my rabbi, he told me, he said, look, if you get 1 million black folks, everybody put up $1. You're going to have $1 million to do something. You know what these ignorant Negroes said? Who gonna control the money? This is the mindset that we have. What makes Ice Cube more or less to sit down with an intellectual than the well-to-do people? What are they doing? We don't even see these people in the community. Our kids are getting shot down in the street by their own people. Where are these people at? Where are they at in the communities? Huh? What are they doing about the immigrants that's coming over here to Chicago, New York, causing ruckus in the community? What are these people doing? They're not doing nothing but sitting back complaining, talking about racism, but they don't want to do nothing to combat racism. I was just listening to an individual. I got to go back and listen to this speech again. He was talking about how they trying to take all the slave books out of school, all this type of stuff. Well, damn it, if that's true, why don't we create our own school to continue the legacy of educating our people about the slavery that's going on in this country? But if you ask some of these folks this, you know what they gonna do? They gonna be against you. See, because in actuality, they love the so-called white man. They want a hug from the so-called white man. They want him to say, Quayshawn, Bushika, we gonna help you. We gonna fix slavery. They're not gonna do it. And that, to me, this is what Ice Cube was trying to say. Like, look, if we pull our money together and try to talk to these politicians to try to get certain things done, we can try to do certain things in the community. We don't even have our own construction company. We don't even have, when they talk about doing work in the community, we don't own nothing. See? We don't have our own electrical companies. We don't have none of that. When you go to the Asian community, they control everything in the community except the water, the fire department, because why? That's the city. I remember reading in history how so-called blacks back then, they controlled the you go watch the show. They controlled the movie theaters. They controlled everything. They had to, see, because they was dealing with a different type of monster back then. See, the white man back then showed you that he didn't have no respect for you. This is what we need to do as the community. We need to stop supporting a lot of these so-called black folks that say stupid stuff in the media that is not really about what they say that they're about. If you're going to vote, you have to vote for your best interest. I don't care if the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan is in office. We have to try to control what's going on, see? But look here. We talk about all this racism, right? But we're not trying to lead the country. We're not trying to lead the country. See? Lead this country. This good slave man. See, that's the mentality that we have. We don't know how to control the black vote. We don't know how to do it. See? In actuality, we should have this mindset. Look, if you have other blacks that don't want to support the fact that we trying to control other politicians and things of this nature and trying to get certain work done in the community, then we got to remove these people out of the neighborhood. We have to stop supporting those folks. Because why? They're against our survival. And D.L. Hughley and Vivica A. Fox, you know what that dummy said? She said, and you have a lot of these modern day black women, they so selfish. He was talking, Ice Cube was talking to Trump about business for the black community, right? They sitting up here talking about, well, what about the women? He said, look, when you're talking about black people, you talking about black women. No, you not. See, this is the stupidity that I'm talking about. When we talking about so-called black people, we are talking about the black woman. She's a part of it, and just like he said. So you not black? That's not what I'm trying. We don't need these people on TV. See? That is a perfect example of a stupid person sitting at the table with grown people that know how to move and shake around the community. And here it is, you come sitting up here talking all this nonsense. I can't talk to you. See? And D.L. Hughley is another one. They try to pose like they so woke and they have, all this, but they not doing nothing, y'all. They not doing nothing. I guarantee if you go to his neighborhood where he came from, these well-to-do black, they not doing nothing for their communities. But we see Ice Cube trying to do something. And this brother has always been trying to do something ever since he was with NWA. See? So, brothers and sisters, I didn't want to be this long talking about this. I know I haven't been on YouTube in a while because, trying to do certain things behind the scenes, but I'm going to try to make these videos every chance that I get to expose the rhetoric of these so-called black folks. And they right, you have to get involved. But see, when you get involved, you can't be like these people. These folks, they don't represent nothing but chaos and terror in the black community. So with that being said, brothers and sisters, peace, shalom.